Look at this move from Slackfish. This is such scumbag chess style. It plays rook back to a1. Its sense of humor as a computer is absurd. The point is that if you take, and I'm defended. But if you take this, I go here, and I use this, and I take the pawn on c4, and then I'm gonna win this in a few moves. It's just a sitting duck. You cannot take because of the rook in the corner. Just, bro, it plays rook to a2, rook back to a1, rook back to a2, and then it's like, all right, I was just kidding, we can trade. I mean, Stockfish is such a scumbag, and then it plays b3, right? So now here's the part where it's gonna start poking holes in the position. Black plays rook to a2 with the intention of bc4, queen b4, attacking the knight. And now that knight on d2, all right, that knight on d2 begins a spiritual journey. I want you to keep your eye on this knight because this knight, from this point forward, becomes such an absolute beast. The knight travels to b3 from where it is booted, and then it arrives on c5. The knight a few moves later will make its way to the e6 square and start harassing the territory over here. Mittens attacks with the pawn, Stockfish zigzags out of the way, and in this position on corks, an absolutely devastating move, an absolutely devastating move, which absolutely puts the game out of reach for Mittens. Here, Stockfish sacrifices the bishop. Bishop to e4. What a spectacular dynamite shot. If you take, I play queen e4 check, then I win your knight, then my queen and my knight go and batter your position. So instead of that, Mittens allowed the capture on f5. But the problem is the bishop comes back, and now Stockfish is up 2 pawns, and the black king is in dire straits. Rook to e3, rook to b1 zips in. Stockfish now has to have a rook trade happen. King walks to safety, king is completely safe on g2, and now we begin the demolition process. The knight goes to e6, the queen goes to c8, the pawn anchors the knight on d5, the pawn goes to d5 anchoring the knight on e6, and now I told you the knight finishes a spiritual journey. Knight f8, threatening knight g6, but it's not over. Queen d7 threatens mate on h7, the knight goes there now. Then it rotates around to g5. I told you the knight goes on a spiritual journey. The pawn marches down to d6. Bishop f6, pawn takes knight. The game is over. The knight goes back to e6. Oh my goodness. It's finishing a carousel here. A little square of a knight, if you will. Check. And the bishop has to block. Knight takes f8. And folks, double check again. And folks, the knight comes back to g5. I mean, I'm telling you, this knight was just an absolute unit. As the game concludes, Mittens realizes it literally has no moves. If it moves its queen, it's mated in a few moves. Check. And ladies and gentlemen, Mittens has been slain. Bishop to e4, check, and mate.